Hello, Virgo. Welcome to your March 2020 reading. It's so great to see everybody today. I saw a lot of people talking in the chat room and thought I would show up a few minutes early just to say hello. And I really enjoy the energy coming through for your sign today. I think we have some great healing when we go into the meditation. And also the messages overall seem very, very gentle, but we'll wait and see what the cards have to say in just a moment. I'm going to put Apollo down. I just wanted to bring him in to send some love and some healing. And let's get started here. I'd like to begin properly just by saying hello in case you're brand new and just happen to click on the live broadcast icon. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. And for all of the wonderful people that I do recognize here in the chat room that have been supporting me so long, I just want to say welcome back. It's good to see you. And thank you for bringing your energy to today's reading. And let me talk a little bit about what's going to happen today, and then we can get started, okay? All of the readings here, just in case you're wondering, they can be used for your sun sign, your rising, as well as your moon. You can also watch on behalf of someone in your life if you'd like to. And if that's too complicated and you just know your birth sign, that's fine. You can stick with that. One thing that's worth noting is I have meditations at the end of all of my videos. And although they're focused on the energy of the sign, you can actually watch the meditation for any sign and get a healing or really practice your meditation skills. So if you're here for that, no problem as well. The way that I organize each and every reading is as follows. I like to start off with some channeled messages. And every morning that I do live readings like this, I'll wake up early. And a lot of times I have a vision from my dream, or I will actually receive additional information right before I get started here. And I got a combination of that today. So I'll be giving you that psychic download first. I call that the channeled message. Then I move on to a Celtic Cross, where I'll lay out a traditional spread and we'll look and see the highlights and some of the challenges for the month ahead. And then I expand that forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. What I do that's unique to these live readings is I've added in a meditation component. And I like to call that sort of like the soul work of it, S-O-U-L, where we're focusing on bigger themes that can help you not just in the month ahead. And again, we're reading for March, but also for the rest of this year. And that was some of what was coming through in the channeled message. So I'll talk about that in a second. Today, we're going to be working with an ancient symbol here, Merkaba, kind of a three-dimensional star. And that's going to help facilitate a healing. So I hope you can stick around for that. Just a quick note on how the live format differentiates from like my old format. First of all, I welcome chat. It's great to see you guys participating. One thing that I won't do in a live reading, though, is I don't do Q&A styles, sort of questions or like pay to answer sort of things. I'm really here to give you a download of what I'm seeing. So please, no Q&A style things. But if you want to support the channel, I welcome that. And a way that you can do that is by clicking on this little icon, and it brings up some options to give like a sticker or emphasize a chat message called Super Chat. And that's a great way just to sort of say that you appreciate what you see and also give back a little bit. There's also an option to join as a member, and you'll see some people have special icons or different colored text. Those folks are kind enough to give back each and every month. So I want to say thank you for those. If you do give me a super sticker or super chat, I'm going to hold off until the video's live, but I will call you out in the comments section. That way I don't interrupt the flow here. All right. I also want to give a quick shout out to Maria and also Ryan for their wonderful work that they do in keeping this a safe space, answering questions while I'm here. So thank you to my moderators. Stay around until the very end. After the meditation, I'll give you some information on how you can book an appointment, join me on social media, give back, as I said. But there's a lot to talk about, and I know you came here for the messages, so let's get into that right now, okay? So, wow, there was so much energy that was coming through. I woke up very early this morning, and that's sort of an occupational hazard with doing these live readings. A lot of times I get up at 3, 4, or 5 in the morning because my guides are talking to me already. So one of the things that they showed me this morning was it was through the metaphor of time travel. And what they did was they took me back and showed me like a timestamp year-wise, and it was 2011. And so what I'm seeing is that you're on the precipice of starting a new 10-year cycle. I feel like you're less than a year away from that. And so what much of 2020 will be for your sign is wrapping up, planting the seeds that you want to kind of see come into fruition, and really envisioning what it is you want to create, which is great because I did several videos on manifestation over the past 3 or 4 months. So you can take a look at those. Those will help you out. But what I was being shown in the meditation was they put me back a couple points in my history and said, do you want to stay here? Would you want to do it all over? And immediately I got this feeling of sadness because there's so many things that I've created in the present. Like you just saw Apollo, I brought that beautiful soul into my life, this the ability to connect with all of you. And I thought, no, I wouldn't change things because it all brought me to here. So what then they were showing me then is, well, why don't you just focus on the future? And what I wrote down was things are going to start to move quickly when you change your perspective, faster than light, kind of like you're traveling in a ship. And this is why in the meditation we'll be using this symbol, because it's very effective at protecting yourself and also doing that sort of travel, astral body sort of work, and also time travel, looking into the future. This symbol is really great for that. So I'm going to work on that. It'll also help clear out your light body. And again, focusing on the new 10-year cycle that you're starting. And the main message, sometimes I'll do like 3 words. I put 2 here, but it would be basically onwards, upwards, and I would say forward as well. Focusing on what you can change now to affect tomorrow. Tomorrow begins today. That could also be how I summed up this entire thing. And so that is a much more, I would say, effective, healthy, and powerful way to look at how you can get in your power center, how you can be the magician, the high priestess, the star. And we're going to be the star, but a different version of it today when we get into the meditation. And I'm bringing the visual aid to kind of help, since some of you may not know what a Merkaba looks like, but it's basically a 3-dimensional Star of David. Very high frequency object, by the way. If you don't have one of these, you can usually find them at a crystal store or online, and they're really great for meditation. They're beautiful as well when you're trying to connect to higher energy sources. All right, we will get into that later, but that's a preview of what is to come. And again, it's really focusing on the future and focusing on making smart choices here and now. So it would also be a combination of all those things I just talked about: magician, high priestess, star. I would also say 6 of Pentacles, oddly enough, because 6 of Pentacles is about balancing and weighing choices, taking what you have and realizing you can actually kind of stretch it and make it more than what you think it is. Okay. At this point, I'm going to turn the camera down, and I like to remain quiet so that I can observe the layout of the cards and also receive some additional information. But just be patient, because afterwards I'll pull up each and every card and we'll really break it down, okay? So let's see what messages my guides have and the cards have to say here. All right, everyone, thank you so much for being patient as I took a moment to get everything laid out in front of me. I want to start with your catalyst. Just a quick setup for how the catalyst functions. The catalyst is a way for you to stay in your highest frequency, and in this case, something that you can avoid, basically, how you can avoid a potential pitfall and really kind of elevate your energy. And this one is about taking accountability. It says, I accept responsibility for my well-being, and it's really the antithesis of what the word says here. It's not about blame. It's about just basically looking at anything that went on in your life and thinking to yourself, it brought me to this point. And that's what I saw in my meditation earlier when I was looking at kind of traveling to the past. And I realized in that moment that, you know, sometimes we say things like, I wish I could go back, or I would change everything. But in that moment, there was this sort of sense of, it's like the pit of my stomach kind of fell out. I thought, I don't want to do this all again. I can't do this again, because we come into this life for a reason, I think, with a sense of amnesia. We've had so many experiences over time. We don't need or want to know about sort of that challenge ahead of us. But what we do need to do in this life is take a look at the situations, and instead of thinking it was this person's fault, I would have changed this, think, all right, I learned from this. I could have done better. I'm going to do better. It's really about making the choices to do a different sort of path in the future. So I would actually alter the language of this card a little bit. And I would say it would be like integrate instead of blame, because blame doesn't work with the message underneath it, which is I accept responsibility for my well-being. And that's integrating the lessons. So to whomever made this deck, I would actually call this integration and accountability. And that's really how I would take this to a high space. Yes, I did it, but I learned from it. I'm happy I went through it. It wasn't great, but now I'm better because of it. And so instead of sitting in the past and thinking, of all these sort of things that make me feel bad, I'm just going to think, well, now I know what I need to do. And that kind of helps set up what we see here with the Five of Swords, which can sometimes be a no-win card, where you're if you try to get in an argument with someone and this card comes through, if you're doing a reading for yourself, it's usually showing that it's not worth the time and effort. It's also telling you not to doubt your power, not to try to kind of get into basically the thicket of things. Sometimes people just want to push your buttons, want to kind of like pull you into their energy. And this card is reminding you, like, right now, it's really important for you to stay centered, to have some good boundaries, and to really keep that vision on the future, which we will do in the meditation later. But a great card that didn't come up here that you can use for your own meditation is the Two of Wands. A lot of times people only focus on the High Priestess with manifestation, but Two of Wands is really essential. If you don't know what you're doing and where you're going, then it's hard to manifest. So I think that could be one thing that you focus on. We have a great card crossing this, which is telling me that for some of you, it could just be your kind of perfectionist tendencies coming through with this Five of Swords, because we have a card of acceptance, acclaim, and success right on top of this, the Six of Wands. Now, I like this deck, which is called Morgan Greer, and my moderators have put links. If you want it, it's on my website. You can take a look at it. But with Morgan Greer, one of the interesting things is they focus in on the people and they take out all the crowd. Normally on the Six of Wands, you would actually see all these people around the person riding in on the horse. On this, it's just about you. And that's actually the key to success this month when you're trying to do something. Do it because it feels right. Do it because you want to share it. Don't focus so much on the feedback. Back when I was a kid helping one of my teachers in a summer enrichment program, I remember seeing for the first time how hard he would work and we would work helping him. And then we would get a bunch of positive, messages, and one or two people would be really nasty. And one thing that he reminded me back then, and thank God it's helped me through my whole life, was that if you are doing something well, you're always going to have somebody that's trying to push you off course, because it's the shadow energy kind of keeping you in check. It's the universe just sort of testing you to see if you're ready, if you can keep going. He said, tune it out. He said, if 98% of the people are behind you and 2% are negative, you're never going to make them happy. And so for those of you that are, for some of you, it might be bullying. For some of you, it might just be like, I'm on social media. Sometimes there'll be a nasty comment. I just try to ignore it and move on, because that's not worth my energy to go to that frequency. I don't reply to it. I just try to move on. I would say do the same thing. You got to focus on what you're trying to do. And that's how you can keep the energy in check. What I try to do is raise my frequency. I go brighter, I go higher, and I just don't focus on that. It's interesting because we're not seeing a lot of that with public figures right now. Celebrities, politicians, and other people that are kind of influencers. Sometimes they go straight into the negative, and you just have to move on. And that's what this is saying here. Talking about the 10-year cycle, we've got it here with the Wheel of Fortune. It's in the deep past, and it's a 10. And this is showing me success, movement, shifting. For me, the Wheel of Fortune has a lot of the same energy as the World card. And even more so on some levels because of the wheel, because of the movement. So we see this, and we see momentum and also potential energy and what you want to do with it. So wherever you're at right now, there's a chance to either go a little bit deeper and really sort of soak in all that you can, or to take a turn, take a right or left turn and say, I'm ready to try something absolutely unique and different and explore a different side of myself. This could be met with surprise or criticism, but if it feels right, march forward, be strong, and you're going to be okay. I think what's also important as we're looking at recent past going into March is to not be afraid to stand up for yourself. Queen of Swords in reverse, she gets a bad rap sometimes. But one thing that's great about either the upright or the reverse Queen of Swords is she knows who she is, she knows how to say what she wants, and she usually doesn't hold back in her direct approach. So I would say if someone is acting incorrectly or doing something wrong, you would want to act soon, be very brief in how you kind of deal with this and move on. Direct is okay sometimes. Just don't get into a sort of petty or negative space or a sarcastic energy with that. If you're just being direct and saying what's on your mind, it's probably okay. The other thing with this is if you're dealing with any contracts, especially since at the end of February and the beginning of March, we're going to be dealing with retrograde. You definitely want to take a look at all the fine details. And if something isn't good, this is about editing and pushing it back and saying, I think I need a little bit more, or this doesn't resonate, or I need to get more information on this. So be direct, look at those small details, try not to go to anything negative, but I'm not averse to being direct. I think it's an important attribute. And because it's in the recent past, it's saying it's something that you could work on. So find ways of really speaking your mind without getting too emotional or being too critical. Direct doesn't always mean critical. It just means stating a fact. There's going to be a lot to do this month, and I think it's important to stay focused. Your crowning card is the Five of Wands, and there's nothing bad with this. The only thing that sometimes can happen with the Five of Wands is you can get lost in the crowd. Sometimes motivation can be lacking. You're wondering, like, why am I doing this? And this is when that feeling comes up that you could really meditate on the Two of Wands, which is, here's where I'm at. This is where I'm going. For those of you that are like in school, for instance, or maybe trying to get through a job experience and you think, I really want to do this in my life, see this as a required moment, but not a definition of who you are. And for those of you trying to get over something in the past, not beating yourself up, thinking that was necessary so I could do this, so I had the power to leave, so I had the power to be stronger, so I can stand up for myself. All those things are bringing you where you need to be or where you are right now. So just keep the momentum. And if anything, maybe remember what we saw here, faster than light. Things can actually start to pick up the pace. So you could decide in certain areas of your life to kind of like a race, pick up your intensity or your speed and get through some of this tedious stuff, because there's a great opportunity on the horizon for you. As we look at the near future, which not only shows the midpoint of March, but also really kind of projects out 2 or 3 months, we have the Knight of Pentacles. It could be an offer coming in for you, new job. It could be an offer for love. It could be you deciding to, sell or market something in your business. Really, it's development, and it's a positive sort of growth with your resources, with your time, with your energy, with your money. So I want you to be set up successfully to get to this point and to kind of get through some of the necessary stuff. But just like, it's interesting, I wish I could go back and talk to my younger self, but you think when you grow up that there's no homework. You still have homework. It's just not, you don't get a grade for it. You don't get little stickers on your paper. You have to pay your bills. You have to prepare certain things, and any movement that you want in your life, you have to do homework. We just don't look at it as that anymore. So this month, there's a little bit of required work to get to that, gold star, which is kind of what we have here. So focus on getting your A+ and your gold star. It's around the corner, and I just don't want you to lose your motivation. So maybe I'm here to give you a little push in the motivation area. Page of Swords. This is about taking action. Many of you know what to do already. But a page can also be about reaching out to somebody. So if you need some help, if you don't know how to do this yourself, pick up the phone, talk to a friend, hire an appropriate specialist to help you. And also for those of you that are looking to, this can also connect with love. So the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Swords can show that you're interested in someone, but you express that interest. You offer them something. So I feel like there's an active role that you have to play this month. I know it's more fun to be passive sometimes, but what I'm seeing here with a knight and with a page, you have to move, you have to deliver. A queen can wait. a king can wait, but the page and the knight have to do the work. And so a little bit of work to be done. But as we look in your environment, we actually do have a queen that's coming through eventually. We have the Empress card in reverse. One thing that I see with this is that it's really important for you to figure out what's important to focus on. When I see Empress reversed or Queen of Wands reversed, a lot of times the message will be, you're great at managing things, but when it comes to other people in your life, wait for them to come to you. When it comes to situations kind of like on your plate, really prioritize and think, if I put more here and get this finished first, then I can definitely deal with these two things later. If I try to split myself into 3 parts, it's just going to be, I'll be stuck in this 5 of Wands. So I think there's a little bit of a sacrifice that has to happen this month. It's not that you have to give up something completely, but you might have to delay it to the end of the month and focus instead on something else. Now, if there's a person in your life, this often comes through in the form of boss, partner, or someone in authority who can have a little bit of power over you. If they're coming in and they're swooping in like a helicopter, and that's kind of what the Empress in reverse is, what you want to do is kind of like take a deep breath, collect yourself, and think, no more. I'm not gonna be triggered by that person. I'm not going to get into an argument with them. It's no win. Instead, I'm going to either choose to just redirect my attention, especially if they're doing it in text, social media, email, just let it go and focus on something else. Take your time in getting back to them. That's another way to kind of reassert your power. And when you do say, oh yeah, I got your message, I was just really busy, I was focusing on some other things, then they're going to know, oh, I guess this person, I'm not, like, the world is not revolving around me. So you can subtly redirect your energy. You can directly speak to them and just say, I don't have time for this today or this week. What if we do it in a couple of weeks? I'd love to help you out, but now is a bad time. Or even if someone's trying to call you and you're in the middle of something, I would say, let me call you in about an hour. I've got to finish up my task at hand. That's just good limits, okay? So take your power back. That's Empress reversed. Focus on what's important and prioritize. Push some things into the future. Remember, you can't always do it all now, and not the future sort of focus that we're talking about might also be shifting some things into the future, because you can do that. So as we look at your opportunity space, we have the 5 of Cups. We have a lot of 5s here. The 5 of Swords, the 5 of Wands, the 5 of Cups. And when we look at tarot, let me just talk about the number 5. 5 is about, it's about movement, but it's not always balance. And sometimes it just feels like, how do I get through this? And so what you want to do this month, before I talk about 5 of Cups, is take the sort of ownership here, because the Queen of Swords, she's very much in control. And so is the Empress. But these power cards are reversed, which means that there may be, maybe it's a mother, maybe it's a boss, maybe it's somebody else in your life. They're coming through as kind of taking your energy. So you're going to take it back, own it, and think, I'm going to be okay. I can handle this. And then with the 5 of Cups, this is about perspective. So you're going to focus less, like I said earlier, about the past. Let's take that out. Turn around, redirect, and start to focus on what you can do, what you want to do. And that's going to be a lot more effective use of your time and energy, right? So let's look now at the outcome here. And we have the 9 of Wands, which is really symbolic of what this year is. 10 of Wands would show the end of the phase. 9 of Wands is where you're at. 9 of Wands reverse can be impatience or an inability sometimes to see where you're at. Usually with the 9 of Wands, you'll see someone that's kind of got a bandage on their forehead. This person's a lot more agile, kind of bouncing back from it. It reminds me sort of the same character that we're seeing here in the, sort of the forward momentum of the 6 of Wands, not worrying about the crowd. So if you can kind of think of yourself as in, like basically protected from, impermeable to, or somehow immune to people's nonsense, I think that's going to help, because the characters that I'm seeing in the spread here don't seem to be taking on the energy or the negativity of others. And I think that's one of the key messages here. But 5 of Cups tells me that there's more good than you're focusing on. So focus on the positive. These things set you up for success. And sometimes when we're growing, when we're changing, when we're experiencing things, it's important to go through challenge because it provides context. Have you noticed in your life that sometimes, children who have had a lot of opportunities sometimes can lack empathy, or they don't understand, they're not appreciative for the situation that they're in. But if you're in a family where you had to struggle a little bit, or you had to work hard, or it wasn't always easy, when you get to a level of success, you don't take for granted the people around you. You never take for granted that that success may not exist forever. And so you just become a little bit more humble, a little bit more open. And so all of these things that have happened have set you up to be that kinder, gentler leader, basically. So if anyone around you lacked that empathy or that skill, you went through this so that you could experience it and be better. So it's a blessing in disguise, let's put it that way. And that's really what I see. 5 of Cups and 4 of Cups are both about missed perspective or misdirected energy. 4 of Cups, literally, you have an opportunity right there. 5 of Cups, you're focusing on the wrong thing. So redirect, and that's going to be key. Look at the 2 of Wands. Focus on having what your dream is right there in your hands, and that's going to be key. Let's expand the forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Each of these is like taking reading glasses and getting a new lens of what we just saw. So I'll be able to interpret what's happened in a different light. So looking at health. Health, by the way, is not just your body. It's usually, as I've started to do this over the 6 years or so that I've been doing it, it's actually about energy and emotion, and it affects the body, or sometimes the body is sort of like a reaction to everything else that you've set up in your life. So we're looking here at your crown chakra, darkest fears. And this is a great illustration showing what I've talked about before, which is your thoughts really equate to kind of like a magnet or even a satellite dish. Or in this case, I've talked a lot about how we can be like a solar deity or an energy that pulls things around us. And you can see dark energy attracting dark situations. So what you want to release right now, what you want to do is go through the darkness. And this kind of reminds me of it's like a solar eclipse, right? The moon. Good symbology, because the moon exists to show us the truth. Like you have to look through the moon. You have to see the sort of bounced energy to see the illusion. And that's really what that card is about. It's not really the true light. It's light that's been bounced on something else. It's bounced on something else. So we're seeing things through multiple sources. Get to the source. Go back to the sun. Go back to the source. Go back to you. Stop filtering in all those other sources. And if you have a fear, face the fear. The way to integrate is to actually move through it, to bring your light to shine brighter. Because once you look at that, really a lot of times what the shadows want when they come into your life, like fear, uncertainty, doubt, blame, anger, frustration, you name them. These lower frequencies want to be healed. And so we sometimes create like a shadow energy in our life, and it's a piece of us. And so when we love it and understand it, it comes back in and it becomes part of our light body instead of being a shadow. That's all. If you think of what a shadow is, it exists only in the presence of light, right? So it is a projection from our actual light body. So when we pull the shadow back in and say, I'm not afraid of you, you actually came from me, and I'm going to understand why you're there. What are you teaching me? The shadow goes away. I actually think there was a time when we didn't have the polarity of light and dark that we have now. It was maybe the first world before this world. But in this particular dimension, in this particular time and space, things are binary or polarized. And what we want to do is smash them together, bring them back and say, no, I'm not afraid. You're part of me. And I'm going to own that and upgrade it. Okay. Looking at other aspects of your body, you're actually in a pretty good place this month. I want you to move a little bit more. Whenever I get a lot of queen cards or king cards, movement is important. Circulation is important. The fact that both of those queen cards are in reverse is showing me that it would be really good for you to do things like yoga or Pilates, or even kind of like an inverted type thing. I don't do them myself because you have to listen to the limits of your body. But if you can do like a headstand or something like that, I'm getting that actually being able to allow the circulation to go in a different way would be good. But you could just get that through exercising. Move a little bit more. I think that's the key thing. It's going to help you quite a bit. All right. Let's look now at wealth. Wealth, much like health, is multi-part. It is not just about, the currency in your pockets or the numbers in your bank account. It's actually about how you are dealing with resources. And resources are your time, your energy, your love, and your money. And so what we have here is what I was talking about earlier a little bit, which was to shield yourself. The card was reversed, but it says protect yourself from harsh or fear-based energies by envisioning a cocoon of healing light. When we see something like this in a practical space like this, I also think this is about literally taking a look at passwords. The people with whom you share your information, like your accountant or your financial advisor, are you happy with them? Are they doing a good job? Do you have questions for them? Interact more with those folks, put up a few more guards when it comes to your personal information, take a look at your social media accounts, put that two-factor authentication on, stuff like that. And then, of course, and we're going to do this in the meditation, focus on a ritual, a daily ritual where you put a shield around you. Those of you that are Patreon members and also YouTube members, I put a members only post up where I talked a little bit about this, but later this month, or earlier next month, I'm going to do a meditation series, because I think a lot of you are maybe not sure how to get into meditating. And what I'm going to try to do is maybe make 3 to 5 videos where there's like a morning ritual, an evening ritual, and maybe 1 or 2 specialized ones that you can do. And shielding will definitely be a part of that. But just stick around for the meditation and we'll do some of that there. All right. As we look now, oh, by the way, with respect to work, I do see something positive on the horizon with money. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Again, it's going to require a little bit of work on your part. So you have to show up in order for some of these opportunities to come through. All right, that was health and wealth. Let's take a look at love. So this month, when I'm looking at love, it's actually not so much about you dating someone else or problems going on in relationships. What I'm seeing here is that some of you might be focusing on going back to school, and this doesn't matter. You could be, maybe you are, graduating from high school. You might be retired and deciding to do something for your own sort of development. But when I see a wisdom card here, it's about listening to your inner wisdom, also expanding your knowledge, and maybe talking to a mentor for help if there is something going on in an existing relationship. But I see love in a different way this month. It's about really connecting with people that help. It's kind of like your sort of spiritual tribe, people that get you. And so I see the love kind of going from the heart to the third eye, and it's about finding that spiritual community, expanding your knowledge, even your crown chakra. So maybe redirecting some of that passion into knowledge expansion. And also maybe putting that into a project if you're a creative type, or even just an investor. This could be deciding to like put money into some new investment, building a house, writing a book, whatever you want to do. There's some sort of a reallocation of energy into a productive sort of end. And the only other thing that I'm seeing, if you are looking at relationships, we have very young cards here. We have the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Swords. And when that comes through, what I'm seeing is not like a deep soul connection. This would be someone that would be sort of like you've met them for the first time in this is the first life that you've met. And that's not a bad thing. Everybody that is a soulmate, you once met for the first time sometime. So I think that when people only look for soulmate connections, they limit their potential. And so you get a chance to meet a kindred spirit that's a little bit younger in energy or approach, but there's something fun about that. That's kind of like a 6 of Cups energy where they can get you out of your headspace and allow you to have some fun. So that might be a nice diversion that's coming into some of your lives. And for the rest of you, you may be seeking out a teacher, because that's also what I see here is kind of like a sage card. Okay. As we look at your destiny also being multi-part, destiny is first and foremost a chance for you to do an internal gut check. Am I happy with the path I'm currently on? Also, do I know what I want? It's kind of a little bit of both here. And what I see going on here is someone taking time and energy to really work on themselves and something that they care about. To me, it almost looks like they're kind of, like quilting or knitting or doing something like that. So I think take your time. Don't rush through something if you are doing a creative endeavor, and realize that the work that you do on yourself is the most important work of all, because it's going to benefit everyone in your life. So if it does involve doing some sort of training or schooling or seminar, by all means do it, because it's also attached to your soul purpose. So I see work on you being the main sort of focus here and the main passion energy that's coming through. Okay. So let's go ahead and review what we've talked about. And then we're going to get into the part of the reading where I focus on soul development, soul energy, and eventually get into the meditation as well. As I mentioned earlier, I really enjoyed the sort of download that I received from my guides. Faster than light. Things can start to move quickly if you allow them to do so. If you focus on the past, you stay in the past. Basically, tomorrow starts today. That's what my guides were showing me. I also think many of you are starting a new 10-year cycle. And what you want to really look at is moving onward, upward, and forward, not backwards. If you do look backwards, it's about integration. It's not about sort of like beating yourself up or focusing on all of the mistakes that you made. What did you learn? What was basically something that you could have done better? And then just start to put that into your knowledge pool and think, all right, I'm going to take accountability and responsibility, but I'm not going to sit and blame myself or point fingers at others. It's not effective anymore. And it's not going to help me move forward. It's going to basically pin me to the past, and I don't want that. The Five of Swords, the Five of Wands, and the Five of Cups. Lots of fives. The Five of Swords, picking and choosing what your battles are, who you want to argue with, what you want to fight, realizing that it's much better to take your energy and put it into things that are going to give you a return on that investment. And also trying not to compete. That's one message that definitely comes through with Five of Swords and Five of Wands. This is a team. It's not about a competition. And you don't have to stand out here. You just have to stay focused on your path, knowing that eventually your hard work will help you naturally stand out when the time is right. So work as a team when you need to, go off on your own when there's things that you need to focus on. Don't worry about how you measure up to these people. And more importantly, if there's criticism coming from the crowd, don't let that bring you into a lower state emotionally. Focus again on not what is lost, but what can be achieved and what you can control. 10-year cycle, which we see here, Nine of Wands, showing that what's important now is patience. Also, an understanding that your hard work is what brought you here. So don't underestimate your own power and stay like always moving forward, because that's what the Six of Wands is looking at. One thing that I didn't touch upon in the original sort of read with this is sometimes with Six of Wands, you give too much power to others or you try to do something for approval. Again, stay on your soul path and on the main purpose of whatever it is you're trying to do. It's not about approval. It's not about others. The work is about personal sort of growth and development this month in a very big way. You have two big power cards here, the Queen of Swords and also the Empress in reverse. Both of those stating that this is your chance to bring your energy into a place of, again, power, balance, and to almost take back anything that you've given away. We do have two of the same suit here with the Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords. We also have a couple of very young cards here. No matter how this is sliced up, I feel like there's a younger energy coming into your life this month. You may be playing the role of teacher. You may just be meeting a kindred spirit that kind of helps you celebrate and distracts you from some of the work. Whatever it is, it doesn't come through as overly negative. The main thing that I see here is to have good boundaries and not to let anybody in your life take too much away, because you've got a lot of work to do. Knight of Pentacles also showing good development and shifting when it comes to jobs and opportunities on the horizon. Again, you have to take an active role because Knights and Pages do just that. The Empress in reverse, again, about focusing on what's important, not letting someone else in your life kind of swoop in and call the shots, not giving away too much to other people, not also reacting when people act up. It's kind of like a 2-year-old that throws a tantrum. Sometimes the best action is just letting them throw the tantrum and then taking a deep breath and trying to get them to redirect their energy as well. We talked at great length about the Five of Cups. It's about perspective. And the Nine of Wands showing me that you are really close to an end result, especially when we look in a diagonal here, the Wheel of Fortune, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Nine of Wands. Just don't give up, basically, if I could summarize that in a diagonal. As we move forward here, looking at your health card with darkest fears, I talked about this. This is also about integration. Fear energy attracts more fear type energy. So think to yourself, I'm over that. I'm moving past that. It's really time to kind of not allow this to hold me back from something beautiful in my life. One of the ways you can do this is by shielding yourself and thinking, I'm not going to let that in. A lot of times when I read for people and they ask me like, or I'll pull a spread and I can see a lot of fear cards when I see they're like a natural psychic or an intuitive. And I'll ask them, I'll say, are you afraid to move forward for some reason? And they say, yeah, I'm afraid that I'm going to connect with something negative. And it's interesting because that fear creates a magnet. So when you call in an archangel, when you put that sphere of light around you, you're going to be fine. And you have to believe in your own power and your own potential. And that's really important. And shielding also works the same way with everyday relationships, because people can kind of sniff out that feeling of, I don't really know what I'm doing. So just fake it a little bit and know that you're going to be okay. And then eventually that actually manifests. We see here with love, it's really about you loving yourself, focusing on yourself. There may be a mentorship opportunity that opens up where either you're the teacher or you're seeking a teacher. But look at the beautiful sort of dove here. This is a divine energy that wants to come through. So I like this, and I think this is a great thing, especially if you're the teacher, because we have this youthful energy. This is a chance for you to give back. And ultimately, everything this month should be something that feels like it's like a tapestry of something that you're making, something that you really care about. If you're spending your time and energy on something that doesn't matter, my question to you, and it's more of a rhetorical one, or this would be your homework, is like, why are you working on it? Is it fear of the unknown? Is it fear of succeeding at something else and then having to do it? Is it just fear? Whatever it is, I feel like that's the big opportunity this month, is to kind of work through some of the fear. And as we do the meditation, I'll try to bring you out of the fear state a bit. Okay? Let's go ahead now and take a look at the past, present, and future influences for your development this month. What I'm focusing on, all signs, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but it's about self-love, healing, and forgiveness. And I think that's really important this month for you, because some of you are either blaming yourself or blaming someone else. And what we want to look at is pulling the shadow energy in, pushing light through it, and realizing it's just a part of you. And so I'll try to help you with that when we do the meditation. Let's look at past, present, and future influences for soul development for your sign this month, looking first at the past. This would be like what I was seeing in the meditation when I was brought back to, possibly even for some of you, this could be 10 years ago or so, 9 or 10 years ago. So we have the Strength card here, and I love the Strength card actually, but it has a few things that we want to focus on. There's some of the energy there of the Empress as well, which is, are you spending more time and energy on trying to change people in your life than you should be? Because this is a card sometimes of domination, as you see here. We look at, you have a great ability to be able to mold, to change, to shift, to sometimes even convince other people. Do you need to keep doing that with certain people? Are they at a point perhaps where you've done all of the changing and shifting that you can with them, and maybe it's time to put that energy inward? Because what I'm seeing with the Strength card here is outward movement, outward energy. So don't force it anymore. For future relationships, be they a friend, a coworker, or a love interest, there should be a sense of like symbiotic or harmonious energy. If there's push and pull and more pull than anything, then there's kind of a cosmic sign that maybe it's time to move on to the next thing, okay? Hopefully most of you have integrated that lesson. These Divine Feminine cards can also be like mothers and sisters or aunts, strong women in your life that probably played a big role in who you are, but may also be somehow blocking a little bit your future development. So this is a good chance to clear and cleanse those relationships as we meditate. Present opportunities. Okay, so for many of you, this is looking at, how do I feel about myself? Do I feel like I've done enough? Do I feel like I'm worthy of the opportunities coming through? Because a lot of times with the Seven of Pentacles, there's a feeling of being slightly less than, or needing to do a little bit more, not being as good as others. With finances, it's really just about being realistic with your finances. The good news for you is I see growth and development with finances. I mean, you got the Wheel of Fortune and you got the Knight of Pentacles. So you have new shifts and changes happening for you. And so if there were mistakes, if there were debts, if there were just bad decisions in the past, it's the past. It's like a credit report, right? Here in the United States, we have this FICO score. But after, I don't know, 10 years or something, things fall off. Cosmically speaking, things are always in the Akashic records. But what happens energetically is once we've learned our requisite lesson from it, we can release the karma, right? So I want you to kind of release the karma on this and think, I don't need to kind of get extra sort of approval from people. I don't have to prove myself. I have done the work that I needed. I'm more than enough for myself or others. I'm worthy of the new opportunities. I'm ready for this Knight of Pentacles to come into my life. I'm ready to be that moreover. And that's going to be essential to your growth and basically development. This is about recovery overall. So for some of you, there also might have been an injury or a release of some sort of unhealthy habit or thought process. And this is just reminding you that you've done the work, but you have to allow yourself to move forward. Don't beat yourself up. Future, which might help you kind of see what's coming through or what you're calling in. Again, focusing on self-love, healing, and forgiveness. The Emperor. So this is where we take the energy that we saw here in the environment and balance it. So we have Empress in reverse. Now we have the King card, the Emperor upright. So this is saying that you have what it takes. You're going to be fine. You're going to be steering that ship, that you've got this. And you really want to feel like you're now in this moment of control, command, and destiny. This is your real destiny card here. I want you to kind of focus on being the king, on controlling things, on bringing all of this into fruition. It's also honoring your ancient knowledge, because this is one of the older cards in the deck. So you may be any age. You may be like, I don't know what age you are. If you're 20, if you're 40, if you're 88. This is showing me that your soul is so much older. And so you have this deep, rich knowledge. Don't let your physical age limit you from things, because you have deep knowledge and you can do whatever you want in any part of your life if you really kind of commit to that and put your energy into it. All right, let's get into the meditation. And one thing I like to say, if you enjoy what you see here, I know sometimes after the meditation we're out in space, don't forget to like and subscribe. It means a lot. And that's the last I'm going to say of that. Let's get into the meditation and focus now on bringing you into a higher space. And what I'd like to do, I showed up a little early today and somebody asked me about how you can clear. You don't have to just use, this is a little dusty. You don't have to just use smudging techniques like sage or incense. You can also use sound. And as we meditate today, I'm going to be using sound to kind of help us go into a higher frequency. So something like this can do a lot for healing and clearing a space. So we'll be using this today. And then also, I'd like you to take a look at this shape now, because we'll be going into this in a moment. This is a three-dimensional star, a Merkaba, if I'm saying that correctly. But basically what's cool about it is it has a lot of different shapes. It's a square sometimes, it's a star other times, and it also has the two triangles that you would see in a Star of David, which represents as above, so below. You put the two together and you create this perfect balance. This is why I really like this symbol. So like a Star of David starts off like this, showing the kind of upper energy. And then as you draw the other arrow going down, it's connecting all of that. And we talked about integration today. And that's why this symbol is so powerful. It doesn't matter what religion you practice. Also, unlike a five-pointed star, which can point one direction or another, it's always pointing in the right direction. So it's a really good symbol to focus on and to kind of put yourself inside if you're going to do spiritual work. So with that being said, I want you to imagine, as we're going to be meditating, that you're going to be inside a crystalline structure like this. This is a really good vehicle for traveling. So you will be protected. It's beautiful. And again, there's multiple points of light. This isn't just six. It's kind of, again, it's a three-dimensional star with a lot of different points. So you're going to be protected as we do this. And that's another way. You don't have to just put a bubble around you. You can put a star of energy around you just like that. Okay. So I would like you now to close your eyes. If any of you have to leave, I saw a few of you are going off to work. Just bookmark this, come back and finish the meditation later. Okay. So for those of you that can stick around, close your eyes and listen to this sound as I play it on this instrument here. I want you to allow the sound to go into your mind, into your body. And as you breathe, I want it to clear things out. Let this resonate. We're going to do 3 breaths with the 3 different frequencies, okay? Nice deep breath, allowing for the love, the light from up above to come through. So I want you to close your eyes and imagine that you're outside on a sunny day, connecting with the sun above you, and just pulling in that solar energy through your crown chakra. Take a nice deep breath. Inhale. Listen to this sound and allow it to clear out any frequencies that are lower, such as fear, frustration, or even blame, as we saw. Take another deep breath, this time going a little bit higher, and seeing that as you're breathing, this light source from above is activating in your heart chakra, and you start to see the shape that I showed you earlier. All of these points of light coming out, making that 3-dimensional star that I showed you right before the meditation, the Merkaba. And with the next breath, I want you to feel that your body is now in this crystalline structure and you are hovering above the planet, that you are now able to see things from all dimensions, past, present, future. You can see all different parts of the universe. You are basically in your highest self, in your highest energy. Inhale. Exhale when you're ready. And I want you now to take a moment to receive light from all dimensions and all directions, seeing yourself leave the earth plane and look down at the planet, look at the sun, look at the moon, and look at the other stars around you. Each and every point of this chariot of light, if you will, you're in a sort of chariot that's shaped like a star. It's going to allow you to travel wherever you need to today. It's going to protect you from anything lower, and it's going to amplify the energy of your heart, the energy of your mind, the energy of your intuition. And looking at those three cards that we pulled, I want you to reflect upon people in your past that may have made you feel like you had to be someone that you weren't, or maybe challenged you and you felt like you had to exert your strength and show who you were. Know that now you've done the work on yourself. And as you start to realize, I am strong, I've always been strong, I don't need to prove that to anybody. See your light start to get brighter. See the rays of your own star that is now emanating from your heart space. Reach out and connect with all of those luminous bodies in the universe that you see around you. Connect with your soul sisters, your soul brothers, all of the stars out there of the same frequency, and let go of anybody in the past who wasn't in that frequency. Listening to that final tone that we had just played, you hear yourself being higher, brighter, and more clear than you've ever been before. As you're going to this higher frequency, see the star raise up and see any connections that you've had with these people in your life gently start to stretch and then just give way and evaporate. There is no more connection. There is no more power struggle. There's no more tug of war. Take a gentle breath and reclaim any energy that you've held from, that you gave to that person, and then anything that you're holding on to, bless it and return it to the source. Look at how the color of your energy changes as you take each breath now, sitting in your strength, sitting in your power, knowing that you don't need to prove yourself to anybody. See yourself growing in light, in intensity, in clarity, and being crystal clear. Imagining that if your body still exists within this crystalline structure, that it's becoming crystalline itself too. That everything is clear. There is transparency, translucency, clarity. You are like that diamond frequency that we're setting up. Looking at present situations that may trigger you. Starting to own the realization of your own worth. Really focusing on the lower three chakras. Feeling safe in who you are. Feeling that you can express yourself however you want. And feeling that we're really integrating the power dynamics that we just talked about, that you don't have to basically kind of puff your chest or show your sort of, like strut your stuff. You are exactly who you need to be, and people will be attracted to you because of the calm, the assurance, the energy that I felt before I even started this reading today, which was beautiful, transformative, calm, welcoming. I want you to start to welcome in what you want in your life and think to yourself silently, I deserve this new future. I am worth this. I am worthy. I love myself. It's hard to say that sometimes, looking at your soul, looking inside though, you don't have to worry about the reflection. What's in the mirror sometimes is kind of like what we were seeing in that fear card. It's a projection or a shadow of the true self. We've gone beyond the shadow into the light body, into the light entity. What's not to love here in this light space? It's all based on love, knowledge, and all the aggregate skills and souls and energy that you've had over your many, many lifetimes. Take a deep breath and integrate all pieces of yourself. The fears, the frustrations, the doubts, the uncertainty, the mistakes, also the accolades, the success, anything that you're proud of. Pull this together tightly with this next breath. Make it a deep inhale. Feel that you're taking something like coal and compressing it until it becomes diamond. Exhale. See the light shine out of this new crystalline structure. Place it into your heart center and own it. That is you. All of the pieces of your past, all of the present, all of the future pieces that you're calling in, it's all you. There's nothing there that is less than. There's nothing that didn't happen to set you up for this meditation today, for the opportunities that'll be knocking on your door over the next few months, and for everything that's coming in the future. Don't regret a single moment. Let it go. There's no time for regret. Not anymore. Inhale. Exhale and see yourself now in a place of happiness, of power, of rest. I want you to imagine that you are seated in a beautiful castle. We have a card here that's showing royalty, so I want you to own your divinity. See your divine side, whether you want to see it with angelic wings, whether you want to see this crystalline palace, or if you just want to see yourself resting and feeling, I am part of the divine, I am royal, I am something that was created by something beautiful, there I am, and therefore I'm an extension of that. I want you in this moment to just feel that connection to the divine. Even if we're less than perfect in our day-to-day lives, we still have that hotline, we still have that connection to the higher self, which is divine, which is connected to the source. I want you to open the channel between you and that divine energy. I'm going to use sound energy again to help you connect to the divine. See the channel open up between your third eye and between that light source. Take a nice deep breath as you hear this tone. Inhale. Exhale. Where there was frustration, there now is a sense of control. Where there was ever despair, there's now hope. Where there was doubt, there's now self-worth. Later today, listen to the prayer for Saint Francis. It's a wonderful prayer of alchemy. I want you to take the lower energies and upgrade them. See everything that's been happening in your life as an opportunity to click upgrade, as if this was a software update. I just gave you an energy update, but you're going to do some additional work yourself later. Now we need to connect your light body with your physical body, though. So I want you to see the star in your body and your heart start to extend again, protecting your energetic body. And I want you to feel now that you can descend into your physical body. Let's enter through the third eye. I want you to, or the crown, either one is fine, but the third eye is what came to mind. So I want you to see the star coming into your third eye. And as you gently descend towards your body, feel like you're as light as a feather. And as you enter into the third eye, allow for this energy to open that center and even leave this three-dimensional star-shaped opening there so that you can connect with this new divine channel that you have created, that you have remembered. So that now as things come through, you're going to recognize the signs and the symbols. Take a deep breath and now allow for your light body to enter your physical body and feel them snap into place as you take this breath. On the exhale, plant your feet on the ground, really connect with the earth and honor your present incarnation. Think I am grateful for who I am. I'm grateful for the experiences that have brought me to today. Everything has set me up for success, for being stronger, for being brighter, for being exactly where I am for all the opportunities coming through. I could not, I would not, I shall not try to change that. I'm not going to travel in the past. I'm going to instead make decisions for a better tomorrow. Tomorrow starts today. The seeds that I plant today affect the success that I feel tomorrow. When you're ready, I want you to take your hands, rub them together. When you feel the heat and energy that is now present here, I want you to create a circle of light around your body, sealing in the intention that we've created today, putting your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that, taking a deep breath, reversing it, putting your right hand on your heart and then your left hand on top of that, taking away any fears, doubt, uncertainties, and letting go, putting your hands in your lap gently. Taking a moment to come back into your mind as well, opening your eyes, and welcome back. So I'm excited for the new cycle that you're creating in your life. Looking again at this card, which flipped onto the floor as I was getting myself back into my own body as well. Wheel of Fortune, worth, movement, shifting, new cycle. That's really what 2020 wants to be for you. March is opening up the doorway, the gateway for that. We've already done the prerequisite work to kind of get you there. Your third eye is wide open. There's a beautiful star-shaped symbol that's going to protect it. You can keep yourself in that star whenever you need it, and you're going to be fine. And again, for those of you looking for a different way to clear, you can use sound. It's really effective, especially that high frequency when it resonates. I could feel the whole room vibrate. So I don't get any kickback. I'll just tell you what this is because I can already tell some of you might ask. I think it's called Woodstock. I get nothing. This is just something that I got years ago at a place called the Bodhi Tree in Los Angeles. It no longer exists, and it was there, and awesome little thing. So yeah, I don't get anything, but that's the brand if you want it. And I'm sure there are other things on Amazon, okay? So maybe I'll put a link later if I can do an affiliate link, but right now, if you want to get it. I'm just here to help you. If you do want to connect with me, thank you. I see some people doing super chats. You can do that while I'm talking right now. It's right there. It's that icon. And it's so helpful and so useful. I have to just let you know, I don't get a lot with ad revenue. So when you guys become a channel member or give a contribution, it helps me continue to buy new cards and set up the time, because YouTube isn't great about kind of putting psychics in the in the algorithm. So thank you for doing that. If you also want to give back in a ongoing way, Patreon is a great way. And I have the same handle, by the way, on Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon. It's just my name, @NicholasAshbaugh. So you can join me on any of those at that. Please, if you're joining Facebook, do the Nicholas Ashbaugh one, the official one. I have a personal one, but you're not going to get all the updates there. So my moderators have put the links out. It's also on my website. All of the information that I'm going to go through here is on my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. If you want to book an appointment, if you want to follow me on social media, if you want to give back, it's all there. I'd love for you to follow me on Instagram. I put a lot of stories up that will remind you of future broadcasts, a lot of cute pictures of my dog there. I know a lot of you like Apollo. So Nicholas_Ashbaugh again is the handle there. So feel free to join. Thanks again for all of you that are doing super chats right now. I do appreciate that. For those of you that are old school or can't figure out Super Chat, you can go to PayPal. This is the address. Again, you can go to my website, and there's a link at the top that says Patron, and you can find it all there. Also, my Twitter handle is @Ashbaugh. Okay, so that's all the different ways to connect with me. One other way for those of you that just want to say thanks but don't have the resources, like, share, and subscribe. When you share this, it helps a lot because it helps with discovery. I'm doing a lot of great things here, like meditation that's free. So help me help other people by sharing that. And then it also helps with sort of traffic and being visible. So that's a great way to give back, okay? I want to say thank you so much. This was just as beautiful as I hoped it would be today, because there was a lot of gentle energy and welcoming energy. I think if you can bottle that up this month and share that with other people and feel like you don't have to overexert yourself, that you're going to be okay, then those opportunities are going to come rushing in, okay? So thank you so much, and have a great day. Take care of yourselves, and wish you all the best, okay? Bye-bye. Thank you.